In a world ruled by the cold steel of samurai, Ren was the weakest boy in his village. He was frail, often overlooked, and his only strength was the love he had for his family. That world shattered the day Lord Kuroda, a man whose ambition was as sharp as his blade, cut down Ren's father. On that day, as he watched his father fall, a brutal lesson was seared into Ren's young mind. In T's world, power is everything. Without it, you are nothing but dust to be trampled underfoot. Years passed, but the memory of that day never faded. Ren grew, but so did the shadow of Lord Kuroda's tyranny. Then came the night when everything broke. Kuroda's men descended upon the village like a plague of fire and steel. They burned homes, silenced cries for mercy, and tore Ren's world apart for a second time. They dragged away his sister Aiko, her screams swallowed by the roaring flames. Ren was left beaten and broken amidst the ashes of his life, with nothing left but a burning, all-consuming hatred. With Kuroda's men hunting him, Ren had no choice but to flee. He ran until his legs gave out, plunging into the depths of the forest that eats men a place, whispered about in fearful tones, a realm where demons and vengeful spirits were said to dwell. The gnarled trees seemed to twist into tormented shapes, and shadows danced with malevolent life. Stumbling through the oppressive darkness, Ren found an ancient, dilapidated shrine. As he collapsed before its crumbling altar, a voice, smooth as silk and cold as the grave, slithered into his mind. It was a demon, drawn to the scent of his despair. It offered him a deal, a path to the vengeance he craved. In his trembling hands, Ren found a simple, black-covered notebook, the death register. The rule was simple: write a name, and that person will die. His heart pounding with a mix of terror and grim determination, Ren thought of the raid, of his sister's terrified face. He remembered one samurai in particular, a man who had stood over him, laughing at his helplessness, his face a mask of cruel amusement. With a shaking hand, Ren opened the death register and wrote the man's name. He waited, his entire being coiled like a spring. Hours later, whispers reached him from a nearby town. A samurai had died suddenly, inexplicably, his face frozen in a mask of pure terror. In that moment, Ren felt it for the first time, a dizzying surge of power. The weak boy was gone. In his place was a force of reckoning. Ren became a ghost, a whisper of death haunting Kuroda's ranks. He was a god made of ink. One by one, he wrote the names of the men who had destroyed his village. The captain who led the charge, the soldier who set the first fire, the one who held his sister's arm. Each name written was a life extinguished. They died in bizarre, unexplainable was choking on air, struck by lightning from a clear sky, or simply dropping dead from heart-stopping fear. Legends of a vengeful spirit, a bringer of an inescapable fate, spread like wildfire. Ren was no longer just a man. He was a myth, a dark fairy tale, told to scare Eriga Samira. But with every name he wrote, a piece of his own humanity chipped away. His heart, once filled with love for his sister, grew cold and hard, paved over by the grim satisfaction of revenge. One night, as Ren prepared to write another name, the demon reappeared, its form coalescing from the shadows. It smiled, a gesture that held no warmth, only a chilling possessiveness. The demon reminded Ren of the notebook's true nature. He could kill anyone, not just the guilty, but the innocent. He could write the name of a child who annoyed him, a merchant who overcharged him, a rival who simply looked at him the wrong way. The notebook offered absolute power without judgment or limit. The temptation was a dark poison, but Ren's focus was unwavering. He pushed the thought aside. His purpose was singular. This power was for Kuroda, and Kuroda alone. Everything else was just a distraction on the path to his final target. The time had come. Ren found a safe, hidden place. The sounds of the forest his only company. He took a deep breath, the air cold in his lungs. He opened the death register to a fresh page. In his fortress, surrounded by his most elite guards, Lord Kuroda felt invincible. He laughed at the rumors of his spirit haunting his men. But no wall can stop a curse. No sword can parry a fatal stroke of a pen. Ren wrote the name, Lord Kuroda. Miles away, in the heart of his castle, The tyrant's laughter died in his throat. A sudden, paralyzing terror gripped him. His own mind became his executioner, conjuring horrors that no physical eye could see. He screamed, a sound of pure, unadulterated fear. And then there was silence. Lord Kuroda, the conqueror, the man of steel, died of sheer terror. With Kuroda's death, a fragile peace began to settle over the land. The enemy was gone. Ren's vengeance was complete. But the silence that followed was deafening. The fire of his hatred, which had burned so brightly and guided his every action, was now just smoldering embers. He should have felt relief, but instead, he felt a profound emptiness. The notebook was still in his hands, its dark power a constant, seductive whisper. He found himself watching people, judging them. A krill merchant, a Boolean goth, an Aragar. No, the impulse to write their names, to cleanse the world of its petty evils, was a gnawing addiction. He was a hunter without a primary target, and now everyone looked like prey. He was on the verge of writing another name, a man he deemed cruel, when he caught his reflection in a puddle. The face staring back at him was not the boy from the village. It was gaunt, cold, and the eyes held the same chilling emptiness he had once seen in Lord Kuroda's men. He had become the very thing he sought to destroy, a monster who dealt in death, a tyrant with a pen instead of a sword. The realization hit him like a physical blow. This cycle of violence would never end as long as the death register existed. There was only one way to stop it, one final name that had to be written. With a heavy heart, but a clear mind, he turned to the last page of the notebook. He thought of his father, his sister, and the boy he used to be. He thought of the lesson he learned all those years ago, that power is everything. But he now understood a deeper truth. On the final page, with a steady hand, he wrote his own name, Ren. As the final stroke of ink dried, the notebook began to glow with an intense, unholy light. Instead of dying, Ren felt a searing pain as the dark power was violently ripped from his soul. The death register crumbled in his hands, turning to black ash that was scattered by the wind, its curse broken forever. Ren survived. The power was gone, but so was the hatred that had defined him. He was left with his memories, his grief, and a profound, hard-won understanding. True strength wasn't the power to take a life, but the wisdom to know when to stop. He left the forest, no longer a specter of vengeance, but a simple wandering man. He spent the rest of his days helping others, protecting the weak, not with a cursed notebook, but with his own two hands. He had learned that the greatest power of all is the strength to choose compassion over cruelty, and to build a future rather than just avenging the past. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more.